Welcome to another episode of Chasing the Wind. I'm Pastor Mark. Let's see what the Holy Spirit's up to. So I wanted to talk to you about some little thing that's helped me. So I'm going to give you a little bit of I'll just call it a tool for lack of a better term. But it might be a good journaling tool. I'm not a good journaler. There's different ways of journaling. Bullet point journal. You can just write a whole book or whatever. But this might be a good way to kind of reflect a little bit to see what God's doing. I was thinking of this passage. In his heart, a man plans his course, but the Lord determines the steps. It reminds me of a quote, and I'm loosely translating. I think actually John Maxwell puts it this way as well too. But it's from the thought of it is, I believe, from Soren Kierkegaard. We live life looking forward, but we understand it looking backwards. And so looking back. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about something that's just come to me recently. And I use this with my church board, and I'm using it with myself a little bit for kind of a quarterly planning. But you can also do it for this is June. So you can say, hey, for the first half of the year, I want to look back at some things. And I'm not big on alliterations and stuff like that, but this worked for me. And so I kind of did this. But one of the first things you do is you cheer. Is this idea of cheering. And so you look back and you say, let's say the last 6 months. What are some things about which I can cheer or I can celebrate? Was with someone who was doing this exercise, and they were talking about how one of the things they were cheering is that their teenage son went to his first dance and danced his first dance with a girl. And she was so excited about it. That's a good thing to celebrate. Isn't it a good thing to celebrate? And you can just do that and just say, I can celebrate, hey, the Lord, I've seen the Lord do this. I've seen the Lord do that. And just a beautiful thing. And to truly celebrate those moments. Those are moments to celebrate. Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe, someone asked you to marry them. Or maybe you found out that you're going to be a new grandpa or grandma, whatever the case is. A friend of mine just got a new puppy, and they were, that's something to celebrate. That's something to cheer, that we can cheer each other on. It is so important that we cheer each other on, people. We just don't do that enough. So whatever good thing, whatever thing you find worth cheering, I say cheer, cheer, cheer. Okay, 3 cheers for you. Cheer, cheer, cheer. Next one is challenging. There's that CH word again. What has been challenging to you? And that isn't necessarily negative. A challenge is not necessarily negative. A rubber band's no good if it doesn't get stretched. Okay, have you ever tried holding something together with too big of a rubber band? It doesn't do anything. You got to be stretched a little bit. Okay. So challenges are they're opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, and so you look back and you say, "Wow, that was something I just did not like going through that." It's like I used to go to the gym, and someone said, "Why did you quit going to the gym?" I said, "I reached all my fitness goals." And they just, "What did you do?" Never mind. You'll get it here in a minute. But anyway, I always tell people I was bred for feed, not for speed. So, what are some challenges you had in the last 6 months that you would say, "Wow, I'm still getting through it"? Maybe that's still something that I'm working through, or maybe it's something to say, "Wow, I got through that, and it was a challenge, and I grew, and I'm a better person, or I learned this, or whatever the case is." And maybe you learned what not to do. Well, I don't want to do that again. That's what the wonderful thing about being the youngest. I learned by watching my older siblings get in trouble. I'm like, oh, to not do that, whatever you do, because that's not going to end well. So what are the challenges you've had that have just, you're like, wow, and I'm not sure, I'm still not through it, I'm still going through it. You know what? Well, keep going through it then. Don't stop, And maybe God's still teaching you something. It's a season, it's a lesson, it's not a life sentence. And then the last one I call charting, and that's not looking back over what happened, but now it's saying, wait a minute, I'm moving forward. What are some things, God, that you want to do in my life? What are some things, Lord, the desires of my heart? Was it Psalm 34? God grants us the desires of our heart as we delight ourselves in Him. A friend of mine says God gives us the desires of our heart. He puts them in there. And then he gives them to us, makes them a reality as we delight ourselves in him. And so as we ponder this a little bit, what are the things God may be calling you to? I think back, it is 6 years, I believe, Andrew's sitting here, that about 6, I was on sabbatical, and the Lord was talking to me about using my voice. And I'm like, Lord, I use my voice every Sunday. No, I want you to use your voice in a different way. I want you to do a podcast. Whatever we call these things that we do, whether it's a vlog, whatever it is. I don't know what you call it. I don't know the technical jargon. I just get up here and tell you what the Lord's talking to me about. So I'm going to call it a podcast right now, okay? We'll deal with the details later. And he goes, so my buddy Bob Benson, who does his shows down here, Bob goes, I got you set up. We went to breakfast. Bob brings me down here. I talked to Andy. He goes, come up with a name for your show. We'll start doing it. Away we go. I started making a bunch of shows. That was in the fall. Andy was going to launch them in January, right before COVID, I believe it was. And I'm like, I remember coming to Andy and saying, Andy, how about we don't launch those? Because I don't think I don't think that's a good idea. And I'll tell you what it was. I had a collision with my own doubts. And who am I to be doing this? But I knew it was something God was calling me to do. By the way, Andy just said, well, I'm going to release them anyway because they're good. So I took his word for it. And now I should have never told him that, because now he'll hold that over my head forever. No, he won't. But it has been quite the party down here. But that was something God, and now God may be calling me into some other things. We'll see where it goes. But as I said in one of my other videos, I don't want to be just another year older. I'm charting out the next 3 months, the next 6 months. We did this with my church board, and it was just a beautiful thing how God came. So maybe that's something that'll help you a little bit as you are planning and thinking. And it's like, do you want to just get by? Do you just want another year of mediocrity? Or do you want to say, maybe God's calling me to something different? And what might that be? I wonder what kind of adventure you might fall into if you just said yes to God. Well, I don't have all the details. I don't know what to do. You only need to see the next step. And revelation comes after obedience. Heard that one at that conference too. Revelation comes after obedience. Just do it. See where it goes. I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. Most of the time, I don't know what I'm doing. I just show up here and remind Andy to change my background. Okay, so anyway. Hey, Wind Chasers, maybe that's helpful to you today. Give it a try. See what happens with it. Maybe even just write in a comment or something. Here's something that God may be calling me to do, so we can be praying with you about it. Anyway, keep chasing the wind, because the wind is chasing you. Until next time, I'm Pastor Mark. Grace and peace.